Hello, my friend Alex Martinez here. I want to welcome you again to another edition of my weekly video series. Today I'm going to talk about something that's really super important, so I want you guys to take heed to what I'm going to tell you. It's probably the foundation to everything we're going to do for this week, next week, months from now, and years from now, okay? This is probably the most important video that you're going to ever want to watch as far as your foundation to your success, okay? So let's get started. Now, the first thing I want you guys to understand is that network marketing is a business, and affiliate marketing where you're actually doing everything yourself, okay? You don't have somebody sitting there over your desk pointing at you, kind of going, you know, you need to do this, and you got till 5 o'clock to do it. You know, it's not that kind of business. You actually are your own boss, okay? And depending on how much effort you put into your business, that's how successful you're going to be, okay? And it's really simple. I mean, it's a really simple concept. But if you put a lot of effort into it, you can actually experience whatever your vision is. If you have a vision, if you just want to own, you know, you just want to make, you know, an extra $1,000 so to help you pay for your car, you can do that. If you want to make, you know, $10, $15, $20, $30,000 and, you know, have a life of total freedom, you can do that too. That's the great thing about our industry. Our industry tells you that you can do whatever you want to whatever level you want to do it at, okay? So I'm going to go back to when I first started in the industry, and what happened to me is I went to a meeting. Somebody told me about this product, and I went to this meeting, and I was in a meeting with, you know, like about 1,000 people. And the guy was, you know, screaming and yelling at the front of the room, and, you know, telling me that, you know, telling us how he was, you know, he was making, you know, $100,000 a month, and he was signing like 25 people every 5 days. His business was way out of control. I mean, and he was just, you know, living in gobs of money, right? And, you know, I'm all over this. I'm like, yeah, you know, that's me. That's what I want to do, right? So I joined the business, and of course, the first thing I have to do is I have to go home and make a list, right? So I go home, and I've got my papers out, and I'm throwing my papers all around, and I'm making my list, and I'm checking it twice, and I'm talking to my wife, you know, who do you know? You know, so I'm all fired up, right? So I'm up here on cloud 9 thinking, man, this is the greatest thing. I'm going to be rich in 6 months. Nobody's going to stop me because, you know, I'm just that cool, right? Well, I'm not really that cool, but, you know, at the time I thought it was like super, super cool. So I go out and I call a bunch of people, and nothing happens. And my self-confidence takes a brutal beating. And I'm just like, I'm underwater with a big anchor on my chest, right? I'm like, oh man. So, but I'm not discouraged. I mean, I'm discouraged, but I'm not quitting. So a few days later, I get a phone call back, and somebody signs up for my company, right? And there I am again, back on cloud 9. I can't be stopped. I'm the guy, you know. And this goes on and on and on for a few months, right? And after a while, I ended up signing a lot of people into my company, and every time something happened, I would go through this same cycle, right? I would go through the same cycle over and over and over again. And it was really wearing on me because it was, you know, network marketing is an extremely emotional business. So I did okay. The company kind of faltered a little bit, and a lot of my leaders ended up losing, you know, started losing money. And since I wasn't making huge amounts of money, my income, you know, went down pretty quick. And I basically got out of the industry, but I realized that this, you know, knowing the model, I knew it was a good industry. So what I did is I was going to take a few years to learn how this business works, okay? So I did that. I took like a year off, and I learned as much as I could about the industry. I learned how things were done, and I actually moved from offline marketing into online marketing, and that was a whole completely different animal. And I started, you know, learning how to do online marketing. Okay? So the problem was I was still dealing with this. Okay? I hadn't really tackled this concept of the emotion that goes into being a network marketer. And a friend of mine told me one time that while I was going through this process, that you got to do something about this or you're not going to be successful. Because this is the pitfall that people fall into if they don't get it under control. So I went out and I went looking for the solution. They kind of guided me in the right direction, and I'm going to show you how that, exactly where that journey took me. And it was really, really super important, and it has helped me in the, since then to really get my business kind of under control. So this is what happens for everybody. I mean, if you're starting out in this business, even if you've been in the business for a while, you're going to go through this, and it can't be helped, okay? So this is what happens. The person goes like this through this emotional swing, and then there's a guy who comes out here, and you're wondering, if you've been in the industry for any amount of time, how does this guy making 10 grand a month, right? And how does he actually get here? What's the difference between this guy and this guy who does exactly the same thing, falls off, and is stuck in his job for the rest of his life with no personal freedom, hoping that he's going to save enough money for retirement, hoping that his retirement fund doesn't go down the toilet in bad economy, and he doesn't get stuck retiring when that economy collapses and his 401k just disintegrates in front of his eyes. What's the difference between this guy and this guy? Okay? It is called self-development. Development. Sorry for my spelling. It's called self-development. Now, people go, Alex, really? Self-development? Really? Yeah, actually, that's the key to just about everything you're going to do in life, okay? There's a big difference between the guy who turns around and says, I'm going to do this, nobody's going to stop me, and I know I'm going to run into pitfalls, I know I'm going to have problems, but I'll be, damned if anything's going to stop me. I'm going to do this, period. No ifs, no ands, no buts. You put a wall in front of me, I'm moving it, okay? Excuse me. There's a difference between that guy and this guy who sits there and goes, I'm going to give this a whirl, and it's gotten kind of hard. I mean, I don't want to make the phone calls. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. This is just so stressful. This guy is always going to be here. This is where he lives. This guy decides somewhere out in this little sawtooth that he's going to, he starts to realize either through himself, it's either a self-discovery or through reading books, that he needs to change his outlook. He needs to change his mindset from the mindset of what we've been grown up to believe, that, go to college, get a good education, and get a job, to I'm in a job, or maybe I'm not in a job, but let's pretend I am in a job. I'm in a job and I want to get out of my job and I want to do something different. And I don't want some guy like this, giving me the finger every day, right? I want to take control of my life, and I want to give my kids an opportunity to do anything and everything they want to do. And I want to determine my wealth. I don't want my boss telling me what I'm worth, right? So this guy right here makes this crucial decision right here that he's going to do something different from what everybody else is doing. And whether he knows it or not, he's gone into the realm of self-development. He is changing who he is, changing what's in his heart, what's in his soul, what he actually believes, what's out there, that is his oyster, and he's just going to take it all. That's just the way it is. Now, how do you get here? I mean, how do you get from here to here? Well, one of the best things to do is to read. I know that a lot of the network marketers, I mean, in fact, everybody I know has read Think and Grow Rich. Okay, it's kind of the unofficial Bible of network marketing. Okay, there's people that have that thing earmarked to death, you know, and you can get a free copy of it online if you just, you know, Google search free Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You'll find all kinds of websites that are giving it away, and you might have to give up your email address and your name, but you know, it's well worth it. In fact, there's audio versions that you can get. So if you don't even feel like reading it, you want to stick it in your car, in your CD player, you can just listen to it, right? But there's people like Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rome. I mean, there's all these people that's what they do, you know. And once you start to make that total reality shift and mind shift to a different direction, and you start to see the possibilities, and you embrace the possibilities, and you move to make those possibilities a reality, you start to realize that nothing can stop you. That you really are an individual that needs to be reckoned with. And that all comes this guy. That's what this guy is. Now, some people are naturally born that way. And, you know, we've all known people like that. But the majority of us aren't. And the great thing about success is that success can be learned. And mindset can be learned. We just have to make the commitment to do it. And you can change the way your mind thinks. Okay? So, the reason for this video this week is I want you to start to consider, and I want you to start, you know, going into the realm of self-development. It will actually change the way your relationships work, the way you do your job, if you have a job. It'll change the way you see the world, and it will open you will see things from a totally different angle. And sometimes you see something that was negative before, and you see it as a positive. And that's really what I wanted to show you guys and demonstrate to you today. So take what I'm telling you, really take it to heart, and start to read, watch videos, and listen to audio tapes about how you can change your mindset, develop a more powerful you, and that powerful you will create a more dynamic business that you can take forward, and you can actually start to teach people how to do whatever it is you do. Okay? So again, that was the whole subject matter of today's video. I want to thank you guys for all the powerful support I've been getting from you, and the wonderful comments that I'm getting in my email box. So again, that's the video for this week. I want to wish you guys a great weekend. I look forward to talking to you next week, and you guys are the greatest. Again, I really appreciate you. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye for now.